in.
Morning, Skirk, Todd.
Too bad the season's over.
I never asked Al why he called him Dutchman's Gold.
If I'd named him, I'd have named him after a star. One of those faraway constellations. Hey, he's pure light, isn't he?
I hope you know, Hank, that Al's very jealous of you.
Hmm?
Oh, not because of me, because of Dutch. He never goes to Al the way he does you.
I keep telling him, Dutch, you gotta show more affection when the boss comes around. Sure you can't make it?
I'm afraid not.
I'd ask Al for you, but you know today and tomorrow are the two busiest days of the month.
Yeah, you know, these Milwaukee millionaires, they got their money in the line, packs packed, and a burning curiosity to see Superstition Mountain. So I gotta take them today.
Well, maybe I can make it some other time.
Yeah. Now you... Come on, come on. The last time you were walking.
Good morning, Diana.
Thought of a new slogan for the paper.
Oh, yeah?
He was up all night working on this one.
Does anybody want to hear it?
Oh, we sort of liked your old slogan, Mr. Bradford.
Well, here's the new one. You can't rest on the past, only rust on it.
Okay, next week's paper, we'll use the new slogan.
Good morning, Miss Kirk, Giles.
Morning.
Port's free. Ready, Larry?
You bet I'm ready. And today, watch out.
Jimmy? Hank. Al Kirk's dead. A couple of gunmen shot him. No, I never saw him before. They got away in an old Chevy coupe, about a 49, I think. No, I didn't get the license number. I was too busy shooting at him. I think I may have hit one of them. I don't know for sure. Well, they're headed east on Highway 70. And I think they may have killed Mr. Bradford, too. She's all right. I'll wait here for you. Dan, let me hold it for you. Come on, man. Go outside and wait. Dan, go outside and look at the sky. Try to remember that way. Not like this. Go on. Do as I tell you.
I hardly got to know him.
Go ahead. Take Mesa Highway with 41. 37, 10-4. Both suspects are armed and dangerous. They're described as follows. 2 males, ages approximately 23 to 27. Height 5 feet 10 inches. Weight 150 to 155.
If they were coming this way, they'd sure be here by
Suspect
now.
number 1 is wearing...
Could have detoured up Apache Trail.
And a gray windbreaker.
Maybe they got horses
Suspect
stashed up
number 2
there.
is wearing a blue denim jacket.
May try to ride out around our roadblock.
That's assuming a whole lot, ain't it? Like they had it all worked out in advance.
They knew about Al Kirk's money, didn't they? He's only got that much in the safe on the first day of every month. Yeah, I'd say they worked it out pretty good. They worked it out real good.
Well, you better get back and join the posse.
You're going.
I'm sorry, Jeannie. Could we make it tomorrow night?
Why are you going?
Honey, I just saw a man who worked 45 years to arrive at this time of life so he could retire and enjoy things shot down in cold blood. And I saw Diana Kirk holding her dead husband like she couldn't believe that something that existed a minute before had been ended by a stranger. Why am I going?
They give you a gun and a rope.
They gave me a reason.
What if you found them, those 2 men? What if you came around some corner and there they were, right in your front sights? Do you shout, "Drop the gun, Louis," or do you blast them down? Todd, why do people go on posses anyway? What are they really tracking? What are they really trying to find?
Well, in this case, 2 murderers.
I'll be waiting.
Jeannie, I don't know why I have to go.
Why don't you ask Hank Saxon?
What's he got to do with it?
Oh, just a hunch. A woman's intuition. Just the way you listen when you're around him. Todd, I know Hank Saxon a lot longer than you do. I think he's filled you full of a lot of mumbo-jumbo about Superstition Mountain and the Lost Dutchman Mine and the curse of the Apache Thunder God and the spirits of all the men who died up there. Todd, may I tell you what I think? I think maybe you're afraid not to go.
Thanks, Jeannie. You just told me why I have to go.
I'm going with you.
No, you are not.
He was my husband.
Mrs. Kirk, forget it.
Hank, tell him, please.
She can ride better than you can, Jim.
An English saddle in Central Park isn't Needle Canyon or Poncho Butte.
She's been back in there with us, Dell and me, 3 times already. She's gonna write a book about Mungus, Colorado.
Well, you're the mountain man. You say so, it's on your shoulders. Thanks, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't like to see you embarrassed, but the sheriff's right, Mrs. Kirk. Why not stay here?
That's was Al's favorite. He's one dog that stays with the quarry, runs it to earth. He's my dog now. I can't do any less, can I?
How about it, Hank? You figure we got it going right?
No offense, Jimmy, but, well, if I was running the posse, I think I'd send Danny's boys in behind Kearney Springs instead of where you got them going.
Hank, don't you know me long enough not to have to be diplomatic? Just say, Jimmy, send Danny's crew in around Kearney Springs, and it's done, period. We all know who's the bloodhound around here. You, not me.
Yeah, you got the badge.
You know something? That's the trouble, and I've been meaning to tell you. You're always pushing yourself down and raising the other fellow up. You don't know what you mean to this whole operation, at least I do. Jimmy to Danny. Come in, Danny, over.
Hey, Jimmy. Look like you're in for a little trouble. Here comes the cavalry.
Mr. Haskell, you speak Russian. Mr. Saxon, do you speak Arabic? Well, I speak both. I learned them this year at the age of 70. There seems to be an illusion in this youth-oriented country of ours that the brain is a muscle that tires with age. On the contrary, it gets sharper, more perceptive.
Well, I don't think Jim was so concerned about your mind, General. That was your heart.
I brought my pills, Mr. Saxon, thank you. And plenty of firepower, right? Yes, that's why I was late. I went into Phoenix to buy a special weapon. Any objections? Not as long as you keep it leathered in. But I'm going to have something understood. We're not out here on a turkey shoot. We're out here to find and arrest 2 fugitives. Clear? I presume, Mr. Haskell, that since we're allowing the enemy the privilege of getting off the first shot at us, we'll be permitted to fire back out of common courtesy.
Here by this sheep bridge is what's left of an old corral. Best campsite in these spots.
Okay, we bed down there.
I never thanked you for something. You're the only person around here who never said, why'd you marry a man as old as Al Kirk? That day you came to work for us, and now introduced me as his wife, I watched your face. Well, I guess I'd become as sensitive as someone in a minority group. I was looking for the shadow of an insult, the stopped word, the apologetic pause. But you said, "Hi, Mrs. Kirk." And I felt, more than grateful. I felt I had finally become Mrs. Kirk. Oh, and Hank. Hank understood, too. The way he always sees everything.
What kind of people would put you on like that?
Oh, not in so many words, but looks, attitudes. I knew what they thought. 30 years difference between us. What else could they think except that I married him because he whistled all the way to the bank?
How much pressure do you want in this thing? About 15 pounds?
Go west, young woman. Now, there's a real piece of bad advice. The West. That's where the world dies. Every night the sun disappears and reminds us that we all die. I should have gone east.
You use this valve to regulate the air.
East. That's birth. Every morning at dawn, not at death. Oh, if I'd gone to Boston and not come to Phoenix, just because I wanted to write a silly book about Indians. Now, can you imagine a thing as silly as that? I'd have never met Al, and he'd still been alive. He was going to England with his greyhounds till he met me. He decided to stay put.
Let me ask you something now. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. What's the real reason you came along out here?
Which way is east, Todd?
shot you got off at the trailer camp. You almost killed me.
Thought you might be hungry.
I'm too nervous to be hungry.
Now, the part I don't like is having to ride a horse out of here. Last horse I rode was in an amusement park. One of them unicorns with the long horn. Broke it off and used it for a spear. Only kid to ever win 7 gold rings in a row. I can't get the horse until in the morning.
You mean we got to spend the night up here?
Relax. Air's good for the sinus. Okay? Tomorrow. We don't cut up that 20 grand till I'm sitting in the saddle. Now, you got the picture? You'll have to move out of here separately. You'll be at the bottom of the bluff by the trail at 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 sharp. I'll move you out at sunset. No. And about the money, you can keep it all. I don't want any of it. Come on, Dutch. I've already got his dog. Now I'm going to get his wife.
You take the first watch, Ross. I'll take it at midnight. You spell me at 4, Terry. Just a minute. I heard no mention of my name. Oh, why don't you just turn in, General? Get yourself a little shut-eye. I'm a third-generation graduate of the Point. I'm a field general of the United States Army, and I'm more alert now than before I was retired. I will not tolerate being tolerated. I will not ignore being ignored. General Scranton will take the first watch. Now that we've established that trivial victory, I tell you we should not be bedding down here for the night. Despite your faith in Saxon's knowledge of the terrain and your curious belief that his Apache blood endows him with some extrasensory perception, I say we should be out hunting tonight. Take a look through that scope. Out toward the dark. Infrared? Best time to attack the enemy is when he least expects it. Knock it off, Terry.
Oh, where's it say I gotta take his abuse? All this glory talking. Let's take Hill 99. I made that Korean action, see? And I got no good words for any brass I ever saw. The only thing brass is good for is to weigh a soldier down.
I could always spot a buck private at 50 paces, even in his civvies.
You come on pretty strong, old man.
I told you, Terry, shut up. Well, do you want to stand watch or don't you, General? Then you do not intend to mount a night search in spite of my advice? Look, I've got a good man out scouting, the best in this county, Hank Saxon. Anybody out there, he'll sniff 'em out. Very well, then. I'll send the first watch.
General, did Mr. Bradford ever win a game from you?
Larry? No, not even close.
Must be pretty good.
No, shuffleboard's not my game. Larry liked it. I like Larry. I only played it to humor him. Poor devil. I'll stand watch over there as natural cover for me. Good clear lanes of fire down all the approaches. General, they could come from that direction. Even come up pretty close on me. Huh?
An infrared scope, huh?
There are only 2 categories, Stiles. Winners and losers. In 50 years of dedicated search, I've never turned up one good reason why anybody want to be a loser.
You bought that special gun and rode all the way out here. Why? Just for Larry Bradford?
But what else is there? Except a man's honor, Right to fight for a good friend or a good cause.
Nothing, huh? Nothing east, nothing south. Maybe west. We'll find out tomorrow.
He ever talk?
Well, he's got something to say. See you tomorrow. Come on, Dutch.
twice. Forgive me the chance and when I failed for doing what I should have been able to do. I thank you for Al, for myself. You won't tell him, will you? I mean, you'll let me say that I did it. I feel as though I can face them now. They'll finally say, yes, she was a good wife. She avenged his death. And they will be able to say that she married him for any reason except that she loved him. But Hank, how did you know? How did you know what I wanted, what I needed?
Around here, everybody, even you think I'm the third Apache. Well, in the war, they dropped me behind the lines up in North Korea. Believe it or not, they thought I was the third Korean. Yeah, I'm a third of wherever I am. Third of whoever I'm with. I'm like a lizard in the sun. I blend with the landscape. It's not because I want to. All my life, I've been trying to find a way of becoming 3/3 of something. Diane, you could make me 3/3 of myself.
That area between Miners Needle and Poncho Butte blocked off. The other fellow we're after has got to be around here close by. Yeah, I got all the mountain trails closed off tight, but he might try to make a run across that flat country, so zip it up, huh? What's that? Yeah, she bagged him clean. One shot. Look, Tommy, we're breaking up into sections of 2. Gonna comb this area clean. We'll make contact again at 9 o'clock. Okay, Tommy, out. You might as well stay in town, Terry, once you deliver him. We ought to be able to flush out his buddy before dark. No need you riding all the way back out here.
I'm surprised, Sheriff, you're not leading the triumphal march. There'll be pictures, plenty of free drinks.
General, sir, I made myself a promise when I saw you dusting out toward us yesterday. I said, Jimmy, no matter what, hold your tongue. It'll go away. Well, by tonight, I'll be home with my wife and my 2 boys. And you know, General, I won't even remember what it was you talked about when I got caught out here with you for a couple of days. No, sir. Mrs. Kirk, you'll have to stay here till we come back, since we're a little short of horse flesh owing to that gentleman you delivered us. Hank, pick yourself a direction. Take Del Posado with you. The rest of us will spoke out from wherever you go. Ross, you and me. Mr. Stiles, you and the General.
that rock? Up there. I'm going to outflank him, come in from behind. You stay here in case he comes down this way.
How do you know he's up there?
Instinct.
Landers never had a chance. Waiting for a ride out of here. I saw Saxon put the gun on him, but I couldn't make a sound. Not a sound, because if he knew I knew, he'd be after me before sunset. This way, if he didn't know, I'd have a chance to get him first. Or maybe I could find one of you guys with a drop of mercy in your blood.
Diana Kirk killed your buddy, not Saxon.
Oh, look, kid. I saw it. He handed her the gun. But she passed. She passed. So he did it. Look. Take me in. Back to town. Have him put me in a cell someplace Saxon can't get at me. Last week, he caught us breaking into a trailer. So he roughed us up. But then he took us into Mesa and he bought us some drinks. How'd you like to hit it big, he said. 20,000. So we made a deal. But all along, he didn't want the money. Only the dog. And the old guy's wife. If you don't believe me, well, I'll get the money for you. It's right up there.
I came along. He was going for his gun. Would have killed you. Well, let's see if we can find the money.
Saxon! Stop where you are or I'll shoot. I'll let the rifle fall. I'm not going to count to 10. I'm telling you now for the last time, drop it. I'll kill you.
Touch. Touch.
He was no Apache. At another time, he would have been a leader of Apaches. I look at you. So my father's father must have looked at his killer. In a uniform.
What made me come along? Why was I afraid not to go? Was it because I knew this was a moment in my life I'd learn something important? Was I afraid to face it for whatever it was? All right, so what did I learn? That people can only make themselves important at the expense of others? These killings, were they murders? Were they sacrifices, each to a private reason, each to a hidden god? Do people really think that if they go through life without hurting other people, nobody will ever know they've been alive?
Believe that! Nothing you've done can make me believe it, and nothing I've seen can make me believe it.
This has been a Screen Gems film presentation. Herbert B. Leonard, executive producer.